Hello, this is Ashley Jamerson coming to you from Ashley Lambert Realty, and today I want to speak with my future homebuyers out there about the money that they can expect to pay once they go under contract for their new home. This is money that's paid outside of closing. Some of these items are mandatory, some of them are things that you can pay at closing, and you'll just have to bring more money to closing to cover the cost. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I have a list of 8. Number 1 is going to be your credit report. Now, this credit report fee is paid directly to the lender, and the lender uses this money to pull your credit reports from all 3 credit bureaus. Unlike creditkarma.com and freecreditreport.com, the lender will get all 3 reports with lots of detailed information from your creditors so they can get a very good picture about who you owe, how much you owe, and if you have been paying them on time. Number 2 is a fee that is also paid to the lender, and this is your appraisal fee. The appraisal is something that is ordered by the lender on your behalf to determine the value of the house that you have under contract. They want to make sure you're not paying too much by the purchase price and make sure that they're not lending you too much, just to make sure you're not upside down walking into the house. So if the house is under contract for $250 but only appraises for $218, then I usually get a phone call that says, Ashley, we have a problem. And then we have to go back and negotiate and things like that to figure out how we're going to make the 2 ends meet when it comes to the purchase price, what the seller wants versus the appraised value of what the house is really worth, which is reality versus a dream, in my opinion. That's how I think of it. The credit report and the appraisal together are about $500. So that, again, that is going to be paid directly to the lender very shortly after you go under contract. The next 3 items has to do with the inspection of the house. So we have the home inspection, which is going to check the structure and the mechanical features of the house. They're going to check all the plumbing, the electrical, HVAC, like all that good stuff, and make sure there's no wood rot or termites and radon in the house. So there's 3 items. There's the basic home inspection, the termite inspection, and the radon inspection. I suggest that when you purchase a house, you get your house fully inspected so you know exactly what you're walking into. So depending on how large your house is, if it's a condo, a townhouse, a single family house, if there's a basement, if there's a pool, this can of course add cost to the actual home inspection. The termite inspection, again, it varies on how big your house is, but the standard 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage home that's found like in North Charlotte, you're looking at an inspection fee of about $340, a termite inspection of about $80, and maybe the radon of about $40. Again, I always suggest that buyers get all 3 completed so when they purchase the house, they know exactly what they are walking into, and if there's anything that pops up during the home inspection, they can discuss that with the seller to see if they're willing to fix anything prior to close. And I always cross my fingers and say, please fix it, because I want my buyers to get the best house possible for their money and in the best condition possible. Number 6 on my list is to pay off any borderline credit. And I say borderline credit and to pay it off because sometimes a buyer will be right on the cusp of a better interest rate or a lower down payment or just a better financing situation, and they need to pay off something. So let's say that you have a car and you owe $800 on it. It might be best or in your best interest to go ahead and pay the car off. I don't suggest paying off anything until the lender brings it up, because you don't want to affect your income to debt ratio, your savings ratio, or have anything just randomly pop up on your bank statements. So it's an optional thing, but if they do give you the option and you have the money, I definitely suggest you pay off any borderline open credit accounts, not credit cards, creditors, which is a little bit different. But again, this is going to be suggested to you by the lender, and they will show you the different scenarios if you pay it off and if you don't pay it off, what your interest rates and what your down payments and stuff like that will work out. Number 7 and number 8 deals with your earnest money and your due diligence money. Now, as a seller's agent, when I have my seller's hat on, I ask for as much due diligence and as much earnest money as possible. As a buyer's agent, I ask for as little due diligence and as little earnest money as possible because I want my buyer to pull out as little money as possible out of their pocket. I made a video on the difference between due diligence and earnest money before, but due diligence money is a check that's written directly to the seller. So if you're buying my house, you're going to put Ashley Jamerson and you're going to write me a check. And it's going to say due diligence in the memo along with the property's address. I can then receive that check and go to the bank and cash that check, and I can go buy me a pair of shoes if I want to buy a pair of shoes with that money, because it's money that you have given me to take my house off the market so you can purchase it. Now, when you close, I have to produce that money, or I have to accept the fact that my net is going to be lowered because, say you gave me $1,000 and I expect $71,000 from the sale of my house, then my income or my net is going to be reduced by that $1,000 due diligence money, so I'll only get $70,000. That's just due diligence, but that due diligence check is written to the seller. So you can see why the seller wants more and the buyer wants less or none at all. When I have my Earnest hat, well, not my Earnest hat. That's another hat. When it comes to earnest money is held in an escrow account by either the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, or the attorney, or some other type of escrow holder. And that money is held in escrow until closing, and it's written from that escrow account. A check is written and then given to the attorney at closing. So if you're doing due diligence and earnest money, you're writing a check to Ashley Jamerson, the person, the seller of the house, and then maybe Ashley Lambert Realty as the escrow holder. So it's held in a bank account. It's safe. It's not going to be touched. You have this due diligence period. Again, I went into this in the other video, but you have this whole due diligence period, and if I, as the buyer, roll over and I'm like, I don't want that house anymore, I just don't want it, then as long as I'm within that due diligence period, I can get my earnest money back, okay? But my due diligence money's gone. It was written to the seller. I took it off the market. I held up my end of the deal, and it's gone. Like, that money is forfeited, okay? But earnest money is completely different. As long as you request that that the contract is terminated prior to the end of the due diligence period, then you, the buyer, can walk away and get your money. So those are the 8 things that you can expect to pay. We'll go over it quickly. We have the credit report, the appraisal report, the inspection, the home inspection. We have the termite report, the radon report, the paying off of any borderline credit to increase or decrease your interest rate on your house, the earnest money, and the due diligence money. So those are things you can expect to pay. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me at hello@myagentashley.com or send me a text at 980-319-3664. And if you are looking for your first house, second house, third house, and beyond, check out my website, www.charlottesbestrealestate.com. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye.